Hey guys, we're back for our next book. We are reading Shipwrecked, and it's by Rhoda Bloomberg, and it is the true adventures of a Japanese boy.
Hi. I'm doing my nails. Okay, bye.
Okay, so this is a true adventure of a Japanese boy. But I want you to think about something, because on the back of the book, it says, any person who leaves the country to go to another and later returns will be put to death. And that's a super important idea through this book, okay? Again, it says, any person who leaves the country to go to another and later returns will be put to death. Okay, so this is the true story about a boy, and this is a picture of him as an adult. And so this book is full of pictures. So I'm going to be showing you all the pictures. So if you don't have the book, that's okay. I'll show you the pictures. Here is a picture. Those are sketches of whales. Okay, and the boy who's the main guy in this book, whose name is Manjiro, he drew all those. And here's another picture. This is a picture of a Japanese village. Okay, so chapter 1, Shipwrecked. Head of the family at the age of 9, when his father died in 1836, Manjiro had to support his mother, 3 young sisters, 1 younger brother, and an invalid older brother who was too weak to work. Manjiro's family lived in poverty, as did their neighbors. The shacks were huddled together, hugging Japan's shore in Nagahama, a village in the province of Tosa. The men were fishermen, a vocation that had to be handed down from father to son. Manjiro's father had been a fisherman. Therefore, Manjiro had to be a fisherman. Sons were forbidden to find any other field of employment. That had been the law of the land for hundreds of years. Day after day, Manjiro set out to sea with boatloads of men. His job consisted of unhooking fish and emptying nets. Because he was a child, he had no chance to cast and catch. The men paid him by giving him fish to take home. They were very poor and could not afford to be generous. After 5 years of this child labor, Manjiro was unable to advance past the position of being a mere helper. And so he sought work at Usa, another coastal village 90 miles away. A fisherman called Denzo questioned him, and after learning about Manjiro's family's sad plight, Denzo welcomed him aboard a small fishing boat that he had borrowed from a friend. The crew consisted of Denzo, his 2 brothers, Gomen and Jusuk, his friend Teraman, and Manjiro. Okay, and here's another picture. This is just a picture of a poor Japanese fisherman. The group loaded the boat with rice, firewood, and drinking water, preparing to spend up to 3 days at sea. On the morning of January 5th, 1841, they rowed 30 miles out to cast all the nets they had, but there wasn't a fish to be caught. At night, they anchored near shore and slept fitfully until sunrise. The next day at sea provided equally disappointing, even when they tried their luck with rods and straw ropes strung with hooks. Again, they lay anchor for the night. The 3rd day, they ran into a school of mackerel. They were gleefully casting and filling their nets. My goodness. When the sky turned black. Before they could get ready to head in, walls of waves banged against their boat with such force that their oars and rudder were washed away. Then a ferocious wind attacked. It broke their mast and ripped their sail. The terrified crew expected to be dumped into the ocean. It was a miracle that the boat didn't capsize. Instead, it went on a wild ride, steered by the wind and the waves. When night fell, sleet and freezing cold added to the group's agony. Their drenched clothes were frozen stiff. Icicles hung from their sleeves, sashes, and hair. Fortunately, the icicles, composed of fresh water, proved to be lifesavers. They sucked on them, for their supply of drinking water had gone overboard. So they were like sucking ice from their hair. They were like this. Sleet scraped from the boat also satisfied their thirst, and cold, raw chunks of the mackerel they had caught halted their hunger. Day after day, they clung to the sides of the boat, riding the swells of the sea, terrified, trembling from the winter's cold, waiting for death to end their misery. At the mercy of water and wind, they helplessly rode the waves, not knowing where or when their lives would end. The storm lasted 1 week without let-up. On the 8th day, the ocean became calm, yet the disabled boat was carried forward by a strong underwater current. The fishermen felt as though they had fallen off the edge of the earth, for they could see nothing but sky. At noon, Denzo said he spotted an island floating on the horizon. Since the others didn't see it, they suspected that suffering had caused Denzo to hallucinate. But soon, land loomed ahead for everyone. They had sighted the island of Torishima, located more than 300 miles from Japan. Using pieces of boards as oars, they rowed with all their might until the boat was half a mile from shore. The island's steep cliffs looked foreboding. Rocks and reefs just above the water's surface kept them from rowing closer. They were all paralyzed with fear. How could they land without crashing their craft? Rather than risk immediate action, they delayed decision by spending the night on board their battered boat. At daylight, they rowed around the island, looking in vain for a safe place to land. Because the shallow waters were spiked with rocks, they could not row to shore. Therefore, they decided to swim. They jumped into the sea just minutes before their boat crashed against sharp rocks and was smashed to bits. All swam for their lives. Fright and the fight for survival supplied their bodies with unusual energy. Exhausted and freezing from cold, they helped one another climb ashore. Jisuk was in dreadful pain. His leg had been badly hurt by their boat's floating debris. But despite severe pain, he joined the others, climbing a cliff to level land. Then all of them collapsed, glad to be on solid ground. Okay, and here is a picture. Manjiro drew it. This is a picture of the island that they came across. So this is the water. So this is the island and the cliffs they were talking about.